Welcome to Wining and Dining with Gina Birch. It's a series where we dive into the experience of food and wine. We learn the stories behind those who create and cultivate both, and we have some fun along the way. And today I'm super excited to have Kimberly Jones in studio. Now, Kimberly has quite a resume, from wine broker and supplier to vineyard owner and winemaker, and she's worked with some once obscure brands and lending her creativity to names and labels, making them household names today. And I'm telling you, this lady does it all. Kimberly Jones, nice to see you.
Nice to see you again, Gina. Very happy to be back.
Yeah, it's been a minute. You and I think the first time we did a podcast, I was doing something for NPR called Grape Minds.
Yes.
And that was about 5 years ago. And I just remember being so compelled by your story, and we had so much fun. And I've just loved your wines and followed you ever since then. I'm so glad that we were able to sit down and share some wine again, stories again.
Well, I'm happy to be here. I have some special bottles that we didn't try last time that come from my own vineyard in France.
Yeah, they're brand new, right? Yeah. So you got started, you were in California. I know there's some people who, I want people to know your story because I think it's so fascinating. And you were in the entertainment and the film industry.
Yes.
And you just decided that you wanted to, work harvest. You got interested in wine and started trekking all up to San Francisco. And
well, what happened was I realized I wasn't very happy in the film business. It kind of had become golden handcuffs in a way. And I realized I was spending all of my vacations in the wine regions. Mm-hmm. I thought, maybe I should be doing this. Mm-hmm. And so I went up, I got my first job at Edna Valley bottling.
Yeah.
And camped out at Pismo Beach, and then started working for this great woman, Lori Griffin, and that was my first job, and that was 25 years ago.
Now, I want people to listen that she camped out. So when you really want something, she didn't stay in a hotel or a hostel, she camped out. And, people that just to me shows that you just went the extra mile to really follow your passions. And I love that part of the story.
I did. I thought, I never thought I'd be on this side of the business. But it turned out that I started selling wine and I really loved it. Mm-hmm. And then before I knew it, within 3 years, I had my own company, and then it grew to, 25 years ago. And it's grown to quite, to what it is today. I also bought my own vineyards, and that's where my real love and passion is.
So when you started your own company, I mean, it's a hard business for women. There were not a lot of women entrepreneurs doing the supply, the distribution, the things that you did, the procuring the wines. And so I bet that was super challenging. It's challenging now, but back in the day even.
It was, and my accent didn't help. And so,
Yeah, where's that accent from?
Arkansas. But, if you're really honest about what you're doing and really and people can feel the passion, then, everything just kind of fell into place. Mm-hmm. I think there's a great Goethe quote, go make the path, make the decision, and Providence steps in.
Ooh, I love that.
And I feel like that's what happened.
Yeah. Before we go any further, let's try one of your wines,
okay.
and then we'll talk about it and some more about your story. So you've got is this new to the market, new to you, or one of your?
It's interesting. This is the 2018. This is my third vintage of my white wine. Mm-hmm. My 2021 white. My first vintage was 2018. Mm-hmm. So it's from my vineyards that I bought in Mory, France, in the south in the Roussillon, a tiny village of about 600 people. I bought 5 hectares of 100-year-old vines, mostly for the red, mostly Carignan and Grenache, which we'll try. But I started making the red wine in 2007, and then in 2018, Jean-Roger Calvet, who works with me, makes the wine. He surprised me and picked all the white grapes. It's only enough to make 44 cases. It's one barrel.
One barrel.
One barrel. It's a neutral oak for 9 months, and then held in the bottle for 3 years, and then released. There are 2 odd grapes here that you probably don't know: the Carignan Blanc and Carignan Gris. And they're co-fermented with Grenache Blanc, Grenache Gris, and a little bit of Macabau.
I would never have guessed any of that just from the nose.
I know.
When wow.
I really love this wine.
It smells like it's got some body and some weight to it, but I'm not sure on the palate. Let's see how it is. Wow.
I'm 40 well, as the crow flies, probably 15 miles from the Mediterranean.
I was going to say, it's got a little salinity.
It's got that salinity.
I feel
umami. Yeah. It's not what you expect when you smell it. And then when you taste it, it's just a whole nother world. It's like, I always say this wine's like arugula, not because it doesn't taste like arugula, but you can't describe arugula.
Right.
And you can't describe Carignan Blanc. It's just, it pairs with things that other things don't pair well with, asparagus, artichokes.
It's got that little
saffron.
bit of anise.
Yes.
Anisette on the finish, which was surprising to me. And that salinity, this would be really good with some oysters and a minuet sauce.
I had it with stone crabs yesterday. It was delicious.
Wow. So there are 4 different grapes in here. 1 barrel was made. And so this isn't a lot to distribute. So where are people? Tell us the name of it first.
It's Courier. It's called, this is the Courier Blanc. My red and white are called Courier because basically I'm just the messenger from the vineyard, from the old vines to the bottle.
Oh, I love that.
And so, in the vineyard is beneath Kiribus, which is the last stronghold of the Cathars. And a lot of people probably know the Cathar history from Da Vinci Code. I mean, basically, the Knights Templars basically walked through the vineyards, went through this area on the way
for real. And this is a real,
on Collier to sell for the Crusades.
Wow.
And that's why on the label you'll see a castle, and it's like a little stamp. It's the outline of the Kiribati castle with the Cathar dove in front of it.
Yeah, the label looks like, it's a postcard almost,
yes,
and I love, you're so thoughtful. That's one of the things that I love about the wines that you make is you're so thoughtful in how you package them, and there's always a meaning behind the label, the name of the wine and everything. So this is pretty cool.
Thank you.
And how much does this retail for?
The retail price,
you can find it.
Yes, it's $40.
All right. And so again, we were talking about distribution. Obviously, you can get it in California,
yes,
Florida,
South Carolina, North Carolina, Louisiana, Georgia, and Arkansas.
Well, that's quite a distribution. Or Arkansas, of course,
yes.
For a small production.
Yeah, it is. There's only 44 cases. 5 cases went to Arkansas. Florida took 12 cases.
Wow.
So, and it's all kind of divided between the states. And then I keep some to drink at home.
Yes, you should. Now, are these grapes ones that we're just not going to find in a lot of places? Are they usually used for blending? The ones that you see here?
Carignan Blanc and Carignan Gris are pretty hard to find. They're Rhone varietals, but they grow in this area. Grenache Gris and Grenache Blanc you can find. Macabau also, but the Carignan I think is what makes it so interesting.
Yeah,
especially on the back of the palate.
That's what gives it, I think, that depth. Because
yes, absolutely.
Carignan is a red grape for people who might not know, and it just really adds some backbone to wine. So the fact that no skin contact with it just to get the
it's just so speaking of Carignan Rouge, the next wine is my Courier Rouge, which is 60% Carignan, 115 years old. And
wow. Those vines are 115 years old. You must be like getting squeezing.
Yeah, I get about a quarter ton an acre. I'm not going to make any. I make my money selling wine and spend it making this. So, and then it's 40% Grenache. It's about 100-year-old. And there's this old, there's a saying in the wine business: you plant Carignan for your grandchildren.
Okay,
because it just gets better with age.
No kidding. And this is the Courier Rouge. How did you find these vineyards? I mean, this is like, I just bought some vineyards,
So my friend Abe from Scullion Project had called and said, there's some vineyards in the south of France in the Roussillon, and I'm going, you should go. And this is totally up your alley. And I went there, and sure enough, I fell in love with the area. We fly in. I flew in from Paris, and you fly in, and there's the Tramontane is the wind. It's one of the strongest winds in the world, and it's the planes just going sideways. You land, you go on all these castles, the Mediterranean's to the left, and to the right is the Pyrenees and all the Canigou and these castles and this history. And I couldn't believe it. Then you look at these old vineyards, all in schist soil, very much like the soil in Prairie, and I was completely blown away. And I buy my cars, I don't lease them, and I'd paid my car off 5 years before, but I kept making the car payment to myself. It was in my budget. So I just kept making it. And I had enough money, $32,000 from making my car payment to myself to buy the 5 hectares.
Well, you're just teaching all kinds of great lessons to people listening today. I mean, with money management, didn't you do that when you bought the Grenache in Spain?
This is it. It's
the
called
tattoo?
Yes,
still in the
yes, and it's called Côte de Catalan because this area is Catalonia. It's French Catalonia, and by calling it Côte de Catalan, I can use that and do anything I want with the wine. If I were to call it AOC Mori, I would have to add 10% Syrah, and I don't have any Syrah in my vineyard. So this is all my estate vineyards.
So since I brought up tattoo,
yes,
are you still making that?
Yes, I am.
So tell everybody about tattoo, because I remember that story about how you saved car money to go and buy your first vineyard. And
that was the same one. That's what I did. That's what I did with the younger vine. So the tattoo is it's Catalan for stubborn, and there's a donkey on the front, which is also the symbol of Catalonia. And that was I made my first vintage for that. Our first vintage I made with my friend Richard Case was 2015 in Sarah Case.
And that's 100% Grenache still?
100% Grenache, 40-year-old vines.
That one's a great wine.
Yes. And that's a great one for the price. That's a great one.
And so this one is from that same vineyard. And I'm sorry, I'm going to ask you to repeat. What else do you have in here? It's
just Grenache.
So it is 100% as well.
No. Yes,
the Carignan.
The Carignan is 60%, and it's a 115-year-old Carignan.
That's right.
And it's co-fermented with 40% 100-year-old Grenache. And it's fermented for 3 years, co-fermented in a large barrel. It rests in a large barrel, then it spends 3 years in bottle. So this is the current release, 2018.
I want some fatty meats with it.
Yes. And
I want like a lamb or what else would
duck, lamb.
Duck, yeah.
Boar.
Yes, some game meat.
Game meats.
Because it has that a little bit of that bramley, I guess, from the age of the vine. It's got some nice acid.
Yes. And then you get the minerality from the schist.
Dark fruit. Wow, this is a great food wine. And it's a great story as well. Yep. Those old vines just do something. They just have so much character to them.
I also think aging it for co-fermenting and then keeping it 3 years in barrel amalgamates the varietals really well and allows for some of it's very it's very elegant, I think, this wine.
Yeah.
For considering where it's from and how old the vines are.
Now, it's not typical for people to leave wine in a barrel for 3 years.
No.
That takes a lot of patience. It takes up real estate. It holds up your cash flow.
Yes.
So, it does. Cheers for you for doing that, for doing it the right way, because there's so many wineries and winemakers that just need that quick turnaround, and they sacrifice the quality and they release things that aren't ready, and then you have to sit on it. Nobody wants to sit on it. I want to drink it.
Right. But I think it pays. Patience pays, especially in this case. When
it comes to since I got you here, let's talk about that Italian project that you did.
Oh, yes. M.A. Monticelli. I did that with Maria and Anna Monticelli and Daniele Conterno. And we do the Arnaz.
Oh, I love the Arnaz.
Yes.
That's such an underrated, I think, wine or grape. It's so good. It's a white wine.
I love the Italian white grapes. You always feel like you're on vacation when you have them. And there's always just like,
That's a good way to put it. You do.
And so the second one we did that was the Aslan, which is the Fermentino. Then we added the Cavallo di Battaglia, which is our Abruzzo project, which is Pecorino and Montepulciano. And then we did a Paisley Pinot Grigio.
Oh, wow.
So now we're deep in Italy. I love it.
So when you go on your website, Kimberly Jones Selections.
You're not going to see my wines really there.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Yes. So I'm partnering.
Those are the things that you're in your portfolio.
Yeah, I need to. I don't even have a website for my Courier wines. Okay. We're working on that right now. We're doing that now. That's what we have a meeting about that later today. And then for my other wines, the Italian wines, it's Mario and it's gone in Vino Felicitas, which I'm a partner in. And I don't know, for some reason I didn't want to be on the website, but now we're going to redo it and put me on there because everyone's looking it up and I'm not there. And I mean, it says so in the verbiage, but we're going to redo it.
Yeah, I mean, you're the face.
I'll send people there.
You're not just a name, you're the face, and people know you. You've really endeared yourself to so many people with your story and the things that you do and the way that you produce these wines. And so, yeah, you gotta have that.
I know, I'm working on that too.
while we are telling stories, tell us about Circus Bear. Are you still producing?
Yeah, so Circus Bear was a project I did with my partners David Mill and Bobby Fox, and it's again it's a Maury wine made by Jean Roger Calvé, and the area I love that wine. The area it's again old vines from Maury. It does have 10% Syrah,
okay,
and 60% Grenache and 30% Carignan. And it's kind of the homage to the Pyrenees, the bears in the Pyrenees, the brown bears, which are threatened, and we're down to 70. They're down to 70 bears. So that was sort of our homage for the bear.
And the label shows a man actually boxing a bear, which really did happen.
It did happen. They took a Pyrenees brown bear and he boxed a guy in Brooklyn and won. And so it says the story on the back. Yeah, they came in. The bears were just kind of taken all away from the area. Now they're coming back now, but they were endangered.
Yeah, and okay, so let's go on to the next one because this has a story as well.
Yes.
And is this are we doing the Arbalist?
No, the Arbalist isn't here. We're doing Operation Dragoon.
Oh, okay. Well, it's kind of in the same vein, correct, as far as themes and.
Yes.
All right. So. Since I mentioned the Arbalist, let's go ahead and tell everybody about that.
Arbalist is the one that I do with Benoit Taquet, and it's Bordeaux. The current vintage is 2022, and it's 60% right bank and 40% left bank, and it's just been released. And Lisa Pretty Brown gave it number 4 as far as wines at the end of December as far as values in the world.
Wow,
so, and it's
a good value wine. The Arbalist,
like $25 a bottle.
Now, the label has a guy with a crossbow.
Because one of the most important periods in French history is actually the 100 Years' War. Mm-hmm. And they won Bordeaux back from the Brits. And they fought with a crossbow, and the Brits fought with a longbow. Yeah. And the crossbow was a real game changer in warfare.
See, and that's another bit of history that I never knew until, I tried the Arbalist and found the story behind it. Okay, so this one that we have now in our glass, that's a pretty color.
Yeah, isn't it pretty? It's really a Côte d'Aron. I make this with Pierre Gaillard, who I just absolutely adore, and his entire family. And it's 70% Grenache and 30% Syrah. And I call it Operation Dragoon because when we first started the project, I thought, what do I call it to tie in, our friendship, American and French. And my family fought in World War II, and his family fought in the resistance. And Operation Overlord was to liberate the north of France, and Dragoon was to liberate the south of France. And the French army took Marseille and Toulon, and the Americans, and with the help of the French resistance, took back the Rhone Valley, R7. So I actually got, believe it or not, the trademark for Operation Dragoon. And so, and it tells a story on the back of the bottle, and the front label has a military picture of actually, can I show it? Can I show it?
Yeah.
It has a picture of a little French girl giving an American soldier a bottle of wine. Oh. And this was on a shelf, and the soldier's daughter saw it and reached out to me.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes. Really did.
And she had found the little girl who's since passed, but she's in touch. The two daughters are in touch.
Oh, wow.
So it's a really sweet story, and it's an homage to like peace and,
we need that.
It tells the whole story on the back.
Yeah.
So.
Now, this one has a little bit of a perfumey, but also herbal smell to it. I feel like I get
it's more of the garrigue. Yeah. Like, the smell of the all the herbs that go around.
Like sage and
thyme.
Oh,
a lot of thyme.
It's in the nose. You just smell like you're walking through a field in the Rhone Valley. That's what it smells like. I love it.
When you walk through there, you can always pick up. We all walk through these vineyards in the Rhone, and in my vineyards too, we always gather thyme. Like I could never buy thyme at the grocery store there because we have it growing wild in the vineyard, and rosemary, and asparagus, and almonds.
One of my favorite, I've always liked the Rhone blends for some reason. And I think one of the reasons is because they are food friendly.
Yeah.
They're easy to drink. This again has some nice acid for the food, meats and those cheeses that you get, some of the goat's milk, that's your sheep's milk that you get over there in the Rhone Valley.
Yes.
Oh, wow. And the blend on this one again?
It is 70% Grenache and 30% Syrah.
Okay. And so Syrah gives it that little peppery, spicy
peppery
kind
and a little bit of that meaty background. And the Gigondas, that's the Grenache.
Is that the region in the Rhone?
Well, it's one of the regions down there. The Grenache is, because I always say this reminds me a little bit of a Gigondas. The Grenache, the strawberry and the bright red fruit is coming from the Grenache.
Right. And this one you've made for quite some time.
Yeah. I've been making this with Pierre for about almost 10 years now.
10 years.
Yeah.
Wow. So how is it changing there with the heat? How's the Rhone Valley doing? Are you able to still?
Yes. Yeah. It's always been where we are. It's always been hot. And so,
right.
Especially in Morey and the Rhone. Yes. I mean, everyone's having to picking very, I would say
early?
a little early, very early as compared where people were picking 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, but you're still able to get that fruit and,
you get
everything.
You get the phenolics and the acid balance and it's
the things that make it.
Yeah, it's a little bit more labor intensive to balance everything, but it's doable.
So we talked about how you were accepted in when you were doing your business in California, doing your brokering and your supplying and all of that. How is it being in places like France?
They're great.
Being a female winemaker.
They're great. They're great. I mean, you go in
and an American. I meant you had a double thing there.
No, it's been wonderful. And you go in and you're buying old vineyards that no one else is buying.
Right.
And so they
would have plowed them up and done something else.
There's appreciation there for that. And you're respecting their I'm not going in and planting Chardonnay.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going in and respecting the vines that are there and working with, I'm working with their vineyard people, working with, like I said, Jean Roger and Marie Calvé and, working with them and it's all respect.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going in there respectfully and they're respecting me.
And the labels are distinctly American, but they all have a nod to the French and the history. And
it's all about the history.
Yeah.
I mean, I go in there. I don't own a chateau, so I'm not going to. I'm not going to put a chateau on my
Jones.
I'm not putting a chateau on my label.
Yeah.
Or so I just want to, and I do want to give an homage to the history.
Right. So, and again, we were talking about names and the things that you do, and a very touching story to me has always been your tether.
Oh, yes.
Are you? And that's a Cabernet from Napa, correct?
Yes. And yes.
It's black and it's got a picture of an astronaut on it.
And he's tethered and it goes all the way around to the back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us that story.
I do that with my friend Anna and Mario. We do that together. I first did it. This is a story of two things: a friendship and my mom. I lost my mom, and when I did, I lost her in 2010. I felt completely untethered, and I just really, I was really tough, and I was working on a wine, and I thought, all my friends came. I knew I wanted to do at the time it was a red blend, and I knew I wanted to do a wine. I didn't know what to call it, and all my friends, especially Anna, came around and just really supported me, and I called it Tether. And she really stepped in to help me make a vintage. And as a result, I was like, well, if you help me, I don't have any, I can't pay you right now, but I'll give you 50% of it. She goes, well, I'll give you 50% of Stackhouse. And that's how we started in Vino Felicitas. And so from there, we started with Tether and Stackhouse. And then we sort of brought in all these other brands together. And we've been working together with the Italian wines and the French wines and my other partner, David Mill, and we've all been working together for a while now. So it's just, it's a really, and on the back labels, I like the quote on the back. It says, take risk, always stay connected. Be bold, take risk, always stay connected.
I love it. And, I had a friend who recently lost their mother, and he was saying, I don't know how I feel. And your words came back to me. I said, untethered. And he was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't have said it better.
It's
so
true.
I think so many people relate to that. And now when they see that wine on the shelf, it just adds that extra I know. I got to get a bottle or two.
That was a real joy and a real homage to my mom.
Yeah, that's cool. So you need to get that site together so we can figure out what all are yours. So I can tell
We are. I'll send you right now. Everybody can go to invinofelicitas.com. That's where all the wines are. And then Kimberly Jones Selections has a lot of my wines on it. And pretty soon we'll have, I think it's called courier.com, domaincourier.com.
Okay.
Courierwine.com. And so I'm getting that together. I've always not been very tech or savvy, but it's time to get more social media and tech going. I know.
Well, I know. It's hard when you're trying to make these great wines and you're out in the field and going to France and California, and so you don't have a tasting room if people came out to see you. Where if they come,
I don't even have a website. No,
silly me.
No, I don't. Like I said, I don't have a tasting room. I don't have a website, and all my wines I don't sell direct. It all goes through. Through distributors and retail and on and off premise and all the states where I sell wines.
So you can email Kimberly. We'll try to get you hooked up with, if you're in a particular state, on where you can find these wines, because now that people know the story behind them, because there's so many wines on the shelf, if I've got a connection or if I know the story and plus I know that it's a blend or a grape that I like, then I'm all in.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Kimberly Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
Gina
for being
Birch,
here.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure to see you. You always make me smile.
Me too. I'm happy to be with you today.
Good. Well, thanks for listening to Wining and Dining with Gina Birch. Again, thanks to Kimberly Jones for being here. We're going to put all the information in text at the bottom of this video. And if you're listening on the podcast, we'll put that in there as well. So thanks again for listening. And hey, let's go have some lunch and drink some more wine and tell some stories we can't tell on the air.
Okay. Let's do it. Thank you again, honey. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.